Okay, so you're just supposed to leave it here with that cream on there, so we'll see how long this takes. Ah, shit. Hello fellow adventurers and collectors, Filmaholic here, and today we're going to be going over a bunch of G.I. Joe related news and updates in my collection. So, for starters, I had a little tip for you guys in terms of, some of the Rattly boots you may have in your collection. So, if you've built anything from Amazon, or if you've built, anything in general, sometimes they come with these gloves, and they don't fit my hands because my hands are pretty big, but I kept them for whatever future reference or need I would have. And I was thinking the other day that the boots are sometimes rattly on these G.I. Joes, so I figured I'd cut them and actually turn them into socks. Now, I don't recommend this, and if you're worried about the shoes splitting, I don't necessarily have that concern because I always can replace them, but if you're a stickler for that kind of thing, I don't recommend doing it. But for me in my collection, this works well at, filling out the boots and making it a little bit more realistic in that it feels a lot more substantial than it wobbling around. So I was able to do that for this guy here. Now, in terms of where I've been doing a lot of sewing, and I received a whole bunch of clothes, G.I. Joe related clothes, so I've been trying to do my best to repair them because I try to salvage what I can, and with my limited knowledge of sewing, I am doing the best that I can. So fortunately for me, a lot of it is just, sewing some seams and adding some buttons, which I'm used to, so nothing too extravagant. And outside of that, I was able to get another Takara G.I. Joe. I don't know what my luck is this year, but I was fortunate enough to get another one, and I actually had to do a little bit of maintenance on it. And it's one that I've kind of done before, and if you're familiar with G.I. Joe, you kind of know how to do this yourself. But for those who don't know, if you have a G.I. Joe with ink stains or paint on it, you're able to remove it with acne cream. Now, the footage you're seeing here is of when I did it my first time around with my first Takara G.I. Joe, and when I filmed this, the stuff was in date. And something I learned over this past month is that this stuff can expire. So with this second Takara G.I. Joe, I had to, it was a series of unfortunate events. One, it's starting to get darker, so there's not as much sunlight, which is what you need for this process to kind of go a little bit faster. And secondly, of course, my acne medicine was out of date, so it made the process a little bit longer. So what I ended up doing, as you can see in the beginning, I put a little bit on the nose and I just put it under a light. And I wasn't able to saran wrap it, and I didn't want to, because if you can see with my old Takara G.I. Joe, it kind of has this like shiny look to it now. So I'm not sure if that was from the acne medication or what, but I tried to avoid that with this one. So fortunately I was able to do that by leaving it open. And sure, it took more out of me to keep an eye on it and make sure to take it off whenever it was dry, but again, this stuff was expired, so I had to do that anyway. But regardless, I was able to remove the ink stain as best as I could. And now I'm fortunate enough to have 4 Takara G.I. Joes in my collection, and I am forever grateful for the people that reached out to me and, gave me the opportunity to buy this last one. So I'm always on the hunt for more, so if you got one or if you know someone who has one, let me know. I'd like to add more to my collection, like I need more. But with that, like I said, I did get some more uniforms, and recently I've been trying to patch up the adventurer kind of parkas that I have, and I really like this look, and I would love to get one for my Takara G.I. Joe. So I'm not sure if I should keep this guy in it or swap it to another outfit, essentially. And yeah, I'm not too sure about that. And recently I was able to repair my my 5-star Jeep. It was missing the actual steering wheel, so I got some dollar store wood and I just fabricated my own steering wheel, and it's not the sturdiest thing in the world, but at least it gets the job done, and for the most part it looks pretty good, at least to me, so it'll suffice for my collection. Also, looking at everyone's videos lately, it seems like the theme is to make dioramas, so I kind of turned one of my shelves into a makeshift diorama. I'm not entirely sure if it counts, but I just created this little backdrop out of insulation foam, and then added a whole bunch of vintage and modern pieces to kind of fill it out. And I like how it looks, and ideally I would want to make my own team and put it in there. And I think this Takara G.I. Joe is going to be the first member of that group. So I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be his final look, but I do like how it looks, and I'm not entirely sure which theme to kind of go with, to stick with the vintage style look of an adventure team or kind of modernize it. I think I'm leaning more towards the vintage style look because it has its own charm to it, and I think that kind of makes it unique. So yeah, outside of sewing, repairing G.I. Joes, and doing the miscellaneous maintenance around my figures, I apologize for not creating more content. This past month has been kind of rough, I should say, but it is what it is, and I got a couple more projects in the works outside of these G.I. Joes, so stay tuned for that. And I appreciate everyone sticking around and checking out the videos, because it truly means a lot. So with that said, thank you all for watching, and if you feel so inclined, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. I'll catch you all next time.